Boy, I've got a real treat for you today. I'll tell you what, we'll be taking a look at some amazing stats and just seeing what those stats are telling us and how they can help our business. But also I'm going to take a look, show you a little bit more of masterclasslessons.com. Masterclasslessons.com is a great place to go to, so don't go away. Hi there. The first thing we're going to take a look at is masterclasslessons.com. Now, if you hadn't had a chance to take a look at it, you really got to go there. There's a very first lesson for domain investors that's up on the website, and Masterclass Lessons covers, the first lesson covers everything you could possibly ever want to know about domain monetizations. In fact, there's 10 lessons on there about domain monetization, about nearly 2.5 hours of video footage. So it's really worth looking at. So I just want to show you a couple of things here. So let's go ahead and do that. And when you first go into masterclasslessons.com, you're first of all faced with, of course, yours truly, my mugshot, as I'll be taking you through the classes, but there's the preview. If you just click on the preview here, then it will just start it up, and which is a great thing to see. And off it goes, and try to really make it as professional as possible and as easy to listen as possible as well. But anyway, if once you've got through the preview, then what we can do is you can look at, say, rather than the trailer, there's all the different lessons. If you're wondering what's in the lessons, you can just go ahead and click, and it'll show you exactly what's in there. So meet your instructor is the first one, for instance. The 4 domain business models. Is domain monetization dead? Now, that's a question that gets asked me all the time. Is it dead? The answer is clearly no. And we take a look at a whole lesson just on why it's not dead. And then we have understanding some of the fundamental metrics, the RPM, how it's such a misunderstood metric. Like, it's unbelievable. People still don't quite grasp what RPM is. Measuring success. How do you measure success? Benefits from traffic routing. What does it mean to route traffic? Rotating versus algorithmic switching, impact of direct advertisers. Now, we'll be looking at the stats shortly on direct advertisers. That's an important thing. Managing a large domain portfolio. How do you manage thousands and thousands of domains? And where's the upside in doing that? Now, a few other things. So, by the way, to get access to any of these courses, all you got to do is just register. Now, people say, well, how do I register? How do I register? Well, click the register button, and you can just type in your name, email, and your password, and that's it. Sorry, you've got to click a link in an email to preview a real human, but that's it. There's nothing more to it. There's no charges, no fees. There is nothing. I already plan on adding some more to this particular masterclass, and I'd love to be able to do some others on some other topics as well. But you may also notice the growing list of supporters of masterclasslessons.com. If you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I just want to get behind this. I want to be able to, if you're saying, I just want to be able to get behind masterclasslessons.com, it's a great thing, then please reach out to me. Like, I'm very happy to put your logo on the page with a link back to you. And also, if you could do the same thing to us, that would be fantastic to get the word out there that this is a great industry we're in, and it's just fantastic. So there's some great companies there, and I know there's some more coming on board as well, as we let people know about masterclasslessons.com. But anyway, so that's a few things about it. And now what I'm going to do is get into our stats. So I always think that's an exciting part of my week, is I love looking at the stats. Yeah, so we're looking at week 21. Week 21, here we go. So the revenue growth trend. Revenue is sort of flatlined off. It did a bit of a surge there. And we're comparing, say, the day of the week versus the 4 previous days. So for it to continue to increase, it means it has to, the current weekday has to be better than the previous 4, the average of the previous 4. So the nice thing is it's really not going down. You got a bit of a bumpiness to it, but it took this really big step up, and you can see the step up in this area here, and that was a great step up. But anyway, so What else we got? So normalized RPM and RPM, they're still surging, which is great outcome. Although RPM at the end there is showing a little bit of signs of weakness, so we'll just have to see how that sort of pans out. So, but great curves going upwards. I love curves to go upwards, that's for sure, unless there's the expense line. That's not a good thing. But anyway, EPC and CTR. This is real interesting. I think actually last week I may have got the EPC and CTR graphs around the other way, which is a bit of a shame. But when you look at EPC here, the earnings per click, look at the volatility. The volatility in earnings per click is phenomenal. It really is. It is bouncing all over the place. There's suddenly a lot of volatility in it. And that could be caused, the main reason why you get a lot of volatility in EPC is because there's less demand for the traffic by advertisers. And you suddenly begins to gyrate like an earthquake seismograph. But yeah, so that's something to keep a really close eye on. That's something I know I'm going to be looking at very closely. But despite the volatility, if you look at the average is really, the EPC is really pushing up. And in fact, if you look at the trend for both CTR and EPC, they are continuing to trend upwards, which is a great sign. Okay, volatility. Oh, I love that last week. Look at that. Just about every day, overall, every day was in the green, which means expansion phase. Expansion, that's great. We want expansion, I'll tell you what. So, what's this graph telling us? Okay, now this is an interesting one. I think we've got some established trends here. And if you look at, this is Google, and this is percentage revenue split. So Google took a bit of a step up and then flattened off, and the obviously conversely, the direct advertisers have dropped down. Now, if we then take a look at the next chart, this is where it gets real interesting. So Google's paying more, but getting less of a percentage of the traffic. So they're paying more and getting less of a percentage of the traffic versus the direct advertisers are paying less, but getting more. So it seems to me like everyone started getting a lot smarter and a lot dumber at the same time. Maybe that's the way you could take a look at it. But the direct advertisers are definitely buying more traffic, but they're paying less for it. So are they getting the better traffic or are they getting the worse traffic? Is Google saying, yeah, you can buy that garbage. I don't care about the garbage. I want to pay the premium for the good stuff. And it makes you wonder. And the only way we could see that is we did a real in-depth forensic analysis here at Park Logic. And that's something that may be on the cards for me to do across the next few days. All right. So this is the chart I love to look at. The normalized RPM for direct advertisers in red and Google in blue. This is my favorite chart to look at. And you can see there the trend lines. Oh my goodness. Like, look at that. It just skyrocketed. Now, I began to think of why has this occurred? And the interesting thing is we've done a lot of work at Park Logic around traffic quality and things like that. A huge amount of work of making sure we're killing bots off and all those sort of things. And the only reason why I think that skyrocketed here upwards is that the traffic we're now sending, particularly to Google, is being recognized more, and it's responding to it, and possibly even smart pricing is upwards, which is a great outcome for our clients. Because let me tell you, it's another aspect of optimization is really getting that sweet spot for all the traffic. And at the same time, you don't want to throw away bad traffic either. So we have other ways we're dealing with that traffic. We may be taking the first tier in the waterfall and rejecting. Okay, so that's an interesting chart. Now it could be seen the direct advertisers are flattening off if you down the bottom just here. It could be said, well, look, I don't know. I don't really know. We need another couple of weeks to see what's going to happen. And I really don't know what's going to happen to Google up here either. So, but anyway, let's take a look at this. Now, why do I like this chart? Because now we put them both in the same axes. We're actually using the right-hand axis here, so it's easier for us to look at on that side. But you can see here's the direct advertisers. Although they've gone down and Google's gone up, the direct advertisers are still paying a lot more for the traffic overall. You know, it's just, are they paying? Like they definitely have gone down compared to themselves, and Google definitely has stepped up compared to themselves. But yeah, it's a really interesting one. The thing I find is very interesting about Google is if you look back here, at the it really is I think it was about mid-April or thereabouts, when COVID was really starting to bite. It took a step up, and you may say, why is that? I think that's when the small to medium businesses really came on board, and they've taken another step up, and I think that's the big corporates coming back into the market. So I anticipate that the direct advertisers will start to get their clientele coming back, although one of the major segments they're not going to be seeing is travel. Travel is still like, it's gone, yeah, for quite some time. I was speaking to someone just recently, and they're saying 97% of travel is just gone. So that's a very, very big percentage. Okay, so we zoom in on that, and we can see there the blue line for Google is trending upwards, and the red is trending downwards. And here's the volatility. This is the overall volatility for Google in blue, and direct advertisers in red. So direct advertisers have swung up a little bit, but that's probably more of a function of the fact that they're it's comparing to the previous week, which is low and stuff like that. And Google has pulled back as well over the last few days, just while the direct advertisers went up. But it's going to be, it's an interesting chart anyway. But here we go. Great stats, amazing stats. And once again, it's my favorite day of the week. It is Thursday here in Australia, is to take a look at these numbers and try to understand what they're doing. Really, what is it that they're telling us that's going to impact your business and give you a lead into the future? So should I buy that portfolio now? Should I buy those domains? Should I sell now? Should I just hold tight? What should I really do at this point in time? And Masterclass Lessons, some of you are sitting there going, yeah, I know everything about domain traffic monetization. Trust me, I bet you don't. I really bet you don't. I spent a lot of time with those videos. Take a look at them. Like some of them, for you very long-term veterans, you may say, oh, it's obvious, it's obvious. No, it's not. Take a look at them. We work with veteran domainers all the time. And let me tell you, the numbers that they put in front of us at times, we cause them go up. Why? Because they haven't got some of the things locked down the way they should and so forth. But anyway, take a look at those. It's been great having you here with me once again this week for looking at week 21 of the Domain Industry Report. Thanks a lot for that. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that video and you find them really valuable for your business and helping you make better decisions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or pass the video on to your friends. Anyway, thanks a lot for that. Have a great day. Bye.